Profits or people? What should leaders focus on first? Should a manager mostly be the one who sets KPIs and drives employees towards their goals? Or should the manager primarily be the one who understands and likes their employees and builds good relationships with them? The answer is, of course, that good leaders need to be able to do both. But doing both results and relationships is hard. Why? Because of our brains. In his outstanding book, Why Our Brains Are Wired to Connect, Matthew Lieberman writes, even though thinking socially and analytically don't feel radically different, evolution built our brain with different networks for handling these two ways of thinking. In the frontal lobe, regions on the outer surface closer to the skull are responsible for analytical thinking. In contrast, regions in the middle of the brain, where the two hemispheres touch, support social thinking. Here's the really surprising thing about the brain. These two networks function like a neural seesaw. In countless neuroimaging studies, the more one of these networks got active, the more the other one got quieter. In general, engaging in one of these kinds of thinking makes it harder to engage in the other kind. So doing both at the same time is tricky. According to our model, happiness at work is created by two factors: results and relationships. Simply put, employees love their jobs when they make a difference at work and feel cared for as human beings. These two factors, far more than gyms and massages and other perks, determine whether employees are happy, motivated, and productive. And that is why it is essential to have managers who are able to help employees experience both results and relationships. As we saw, it's hard to do both at the same time, and sadly, results often take center stage in the workplace, while relationships are massively underappreciated. We can't afford to make that mistake. Relationships at work are absolutely crucial, especially the relationship between an employee and their manager. Research shows that employees who have a bad relationship with their manager are much more likely to quit, are more stressed and get sick more often, and are less productive. And these relationships even matter for the manager. A study from the Oslo Business School found that managers who have good relationships with their employees are also less stressed. So yes, this is absolutely crucial and something your organization needs to constantly measure and improve. So here I want to share 4 tips for creating good relationships between managers and employees. First, here's a radical idea. I believe that your workplace will have more success if you select managers with excellent social skills and train them to become better at focusing on results than if you do it the other way around. I believe that it is much easier for a person with good social skills to learn to focus on results than it is for a hardcore results-driven person to develop social skills and empathy. Southwest Airlines have long done this. The excellent book, The Southwest Airlines Way by Jodie Hoffer-Gittel, who I met, she's fantastic, reveals the secret to Southwest's remarkable success: high-performance relationships that create an enormous competitive advantage in motivation, teamwork, and coordination among Southwest's employees. And specifically, when Southwest looks for new managers, the most important skill they select for is the ability to connect with other people and create good relationships. Now, this does not mean being best friends with every single employee, but it does mean having a respectful, positive, and trusting mutual relationship. Second, you need to train this in managers. Building good relationships with employees is a skill that can be learned, and companies should make this a core part of their leadership training programs. If managers do not get the training they need in creating good relationships, how else are they going to learn it? And if they don't learn it, it will have a directly negative impact on employee happiness and consequently on productivity. Third, in the business community, it is depressingly common to primarily promote results-oriented managers instead of those with strong social skills. Usually, the most professionally competent employees are promoted to managerial positions, even if they lack the social skills it takes to be a manager. And those are the same people that then rise through the ranks into higher and higher management positions. So instead of doing that, we need to promote people with excellent social skills. We also have to consider how we reward managers. Many workplaces reward managers for creating good results, right? Profits, efficiency, productivity. But how many workplaces have a bonus scheme that also considers those who build good relations? Why not split the manager's bonuses 50-50 between results and relationships? If we only reward one of the two, we only encourage one type of behavior, and a one-sided focus on results will eventually harm results and the bottom line. Ironic, but true. Using Heartcount, you can directly and immediately see how each employee feels about their manager, and you can see how good each manager is at creating good relationships with their employees. It's one of 8 focus areas in Heartcount. And what you can then do is you can reward those managers who do it really well. You can discover and promote their best practices so other managers can learn from it. And crucially, you can identify and help those managers who haven't figured it out yet and help them get better at it. And if there happen to be some managers in your organization who can't or won't learn to create good relationships, you must apply tip number 4. You see, some managers can't learn it, or they won't learn it. They actually don't care about their people enough to treat them well. For instance, while sociopaths are rare, they do exist, and they exist in the workplace too. Sociopaths have little to no empathy for others and will repeatedly mistreat their employees to advance their own agendas. Other managers may not be actual sociopaths, but have just been trained throughout their whole career to think that people don't matter, only results do, and maybe unable to break free of that kind of dinosaur thinking, no matter how much you try to help them. And for those managers, there really is only one solution. Get rid of them. Fire them right now. No one has a right to mistreat others. But in the workplace, we can fall into a pattern of thinking that puts other concerns first. Bad managers who are affected by time pressure, economic pressure, performance pressure, and so on, will sometimes use that as an excuse to treat employees badly. That is never okay. It doesn't matter what types of pressure your job brings to bear on you. None of that gives you license to treat employees with less than the utmost respect and care, especially because a manager's bad behavior is always seen by employees and adopted as the new norm. Hey, if my manager does it, that's the right way to behave. You have to stop it, and you have to stop it now. So let me get to the point. Personally, I am convinced that the most important leadership skill is to actually care about other people. As a manager, you don't lead numbers. You don't lead machines. You don't lead strategies or plans or projects. You lead people. And I am convinced that you should only lead people if you like people. Stay happy.